All right. Hello, everybody. We are back again. Hillary made it this time, barely. She always seems to have technical difficulties. So,
I really
um,
do. And I apologize. I know that my sound isn't the best. I'm very loud, I've been told, and I echo a little bit. So I'm working on trying to get that fixed so it doesn't sound terrible because that's not fun to listen to. So
yeah,
sorry.
if anybody, whoever the people that are out there right now, if you could comment and tell us how our audio levels are, because there's always been a couple comments uh, the last few weeks about our audio issues and saying that Hillary's very loud, which I find amusing because she can be very loud.
Hmm.
I'm seeing. Oh, Jenna says it sounds good. All right. Well,
Oh, good.
cool. All right. Well, we will get started then. The last live we did, it was right before the video. So I don't know how many of you guys watched the video that we did about the off the grid property up near Polbridge. Um, that was kind of a cool place, and we did get tons of views on that video and a lot of questions about it. And like I said in the video, some people, commented and sent emails about that property, but that is not, a lot of people think off the grid, they think a log cabin with nothing.
Yeah.
Um, but this one was definitely a luxury off the grid property. And we have lots of those around here. We also have lots of things that lean towards the log cabin and nothing. So the
I know what
people,
you're looking for.
yeah, the people that had the questions about that off the grid property, um, it's like a regular house. If we didn't tell you it was off the grid, when you're inside of it, you'd never know. It's just how it's run. It's obviously run off of the solar panels and the propane, and obviously there's a lot of money that goes into the equipment to make it work, and to live like that off the grid. So we just wanted to do a video because, like I said at the beginning of that video, I did one a few years ago, on a place, and we had to take that one down. And that one also got a lot of interest and a lot of comments. And so the guy in our office had this one listed, and he wanted us to do a video on it. And so it worked out perfectly. So yeah, and that was the first time Hillary's ever gotten to go to one of those type of places.
Yeah, it was so cool. I loved it out there.
She loved it out there, but she also said she would never live out there.
That's true. It's interesting. I don't know if I could live that far. My first house in Whitefish was um, it felt a lot more secluded. I was kind of backed up to the woods and I couldn't see my neighbors, and I really liked that. I've told you guys this every single live, I think, but it's the best thing that ever happened to me when the deer had babies in my yard and they couldn't jump over the fence. So I just like watched them grow up, saw a skunk. I loved it. And now I'm in town, so it's much more neighborhoody. So I don't know. The good thing about Montana is there's a lot of in between. So you don't have to live, you know, super far away to feel like you've got more privacy and all that.
Yeah. And then the other thing I wanted to go over before we start taking questions from people is, I've gotten a couple calls in the last couple weeks from people that they know that I've done videos on this. Our market is slowing down. So making an offer contingent upon your house selling somewhere else will possibly work now, whereas a year ago that would have never been an option. Um, but if you are going to do that, just so you know, your offer, even though the market is slowing down, in order to make your offer better, you have to, your house has to have already been on the market. And um, the best thing it can be is it's already under contract. If you just do it contingent on your house selling and you haven't even put it on the market yet, that's a horrible offer. And the reason it is because when you make an offer here in Montana, I don't know the states you guys are coming from, but when a seller, so if Hillary was selling her house to you and she accepted your offer, there's no backing out for her. So basically, if she accepts your offer that your house is contingent on um,
So,
selling, then she's basically taking her house off the market um, until yours sells. There is a bump clause thing that we can fill out for the sellers, and more than likely they'll do that, but that gives them, or it'll give you 72 hours for to perform on the contract. So, if they get another offer, but the problem with those is that when people see the listing and it shows under contract with a bump clause, they kind of get a little leery because it's not wide open. It's not totally available like it is, a normal house that's active on the market. So,
and every situation is different. We've had deals where we were helping buyers purchase a house contingent on their home selling. And I mean, even if you've made it pretty far into the process and have gone through some of those contingencies and you think you're in the clear, a deal's never done until it actually closes. And so we've had deals blow up at the last minute, like totally unexpectedly, when we thought that everything was totally fine. So that's just something else to consider. And then it's equally as upsetting for the buyer. I feel like it's because you lose out on the house you wanted and you kind of have to start over again. And it's just easier to get the house sold before you buy another one. But I get that sometimes that's not possible and all that. But
yeah. And then for more fun discussion, so Hillary, I did a video on this last year because I did it last year at a different place, but maybe Hillary, you could talk about what you guys did last week at the fire lookout.
yeah, so we have fire lookouts all over Montana. People, I mean, they were, working fire lookouts where people would actually sit and watch for forest fires. But now the Forest Service kind of keeps them up and running and safe to sleep in, and you can reserve them and sleep in them. And so we went to one in Connor, Montana, which is out a little bit past Darby. So we drove through Hamilton. We've done a video on that. We drove through Darby. I drove by Yellowstone Ranch. And so it was kind of a drive, but it was definitely worth it. I think a lot of them are pretty close, like to where you park. This one was a bit of a trek to get up there, but it was worth it, and it's very cool. And they're stocked up pretty well. Like they had games and cards and like a little guest book and log books. We read what other people had written. They've got lanterns and like a stove. You have to bring your own propane though, but it was very cool. Highly recommend it if you guys are here. Or
pretty cheap too, isn't it?
Yeah, it was super cheap. I can't even remember how much it was, but it wasn't a lot.
I think ours was only $30.
I think ours might have been less than that. So yeah, definitely worth it though. They're very cool. If you Google a picture of any of them, they all look similar, but it's just like total windows. So it's a prime spot to watch the sunset, and then you wake up when the sun rises, and it's really, really cool. So that was a nice little summer activity in Montana.
Yeah, you can go to the you could probably just Google Montana fire lookouts, but there's a government site. I don't know if it's recreation or if it's the Forest Service site.
I think it is the recreation site. I think that's where I got my reservations, and they have them all listed with information about them. You can like look at pictures. They tell you where they're located and all that. And so when the reservations went live this year, I just kind of went down the list. They filled up. I don't know how fast they filled up though, because I kind of came into it a little bit late, but I just took the one that was available on the dates that it was available, and it was definitely worth it. So I want to get, you see in like coffee shops and even at like the grocery store around here, they've got books on all of the fire lookouts in the area. So I'm going to get one. I'm going to start checking them off. I want that to be like my new thing.
Yeah, we went to the one we went to last year. Our friends, Andy and Wendy went the other day. We were supposed to go, but because of work stuff, we did not go this year. But they went to the same one that we had gone to last year. That it's over by Lake Koocanusa, called McGuire Lookout. But then
Yeah.
they have another one reserved uh, in a few weeks to over up by Libby somewhere, way up in the towards the Yak.
Oh,
So,
cool.
and that one I guess you can drive to. So some of them, like the one we went to, you had to hike maybe 3 miles. It wasn't a bad hike. I figured it was going to be straight up since you're going to a fire tower that sits on top of a mountain, but the hike to it wasn't bad. What was yours like?
Ours was like, it was a little over 3.5 miles up, and we gained like 2,000 feet of elevation. So
I think they all vary because the one that they
they
reserved,
definitely do.
the
Because I
one
know
they,
Keenan, I can't remember which one he had stayed at in the past, but he said it was like he parked and walked like a half a mile and was there. So that's something else to consider, I guess, when you're looking at them, because they're definitely all different, just depending on how much you want to hike in and how much you want to carry in and all that. But it
yeah,
was cool.
the one they reserved in a couple weeks is supposedly you can drive right to it, so it's not there's no hiking involved. So the good and bad thing about that, the good thing is that you can haul all kinds of perhaps beer or whatever
Yeah,
you
that's what
whatever you
Will.
want up there, food, and you don't have to worry about hauling it in yourself. But
Yeah.
the hiking part is pretty cool too. The one we did last year, that was a good hike and very scenic, and I have some great photos that I got from that hike. And again, if you're interested, I did do a video on it that's probably about 1 year old if you look back.
Yeah, you guys should. They're very cool. Our hike was good. This is a good year for bear grass. So there was a ton of bear grass out. I think that 2017 was the best year for bear grass that I've witnessed, but there's a lot of bear grass this year, so that's fun. I love bear grass.
All right. Well, it looks like we have a few questions coming up if you
Yeah,
want to pull them up.
I sure will. Hello, everyone from everywhere, Florida, Alberta.
Dwayne, one of our regulars. Hey, Dwayne.
Hey, Dwayne. This is a good question, although it's not letting me put them up. Sorry. I don't know why.
Oh,
But Rocky Mountain Guy asked, how insane was it there when the festival was here last week? And it was busy. It was definitely busy. I think that they improved it from last year. Last year, it was like a known fact. They totally oversold it. And it really felt like a disaster. Like I remember going to the grocery store and looking around, and there was no food. And this year, we just had the crowds. The cell service is really bad. I think that's the main complaint that I heard, just because our cell tower isn't made for that many people. And so a lot of people, I think, didn't have service at all. Mine was kind of in and out, so it's just
yeah.
and there was definitely traffic, but I don't know. I just thought it was an improvement from last year, and I was kind of ready for all the people to come. So I think I just knew what to expect, and it is what it is. But it's definitely busy, and you definitely don't have your cell phone working as well as you normally do.
Yeah, I would agree. The biggest complaint I had was I guess it was Friday because it starts on Friday night. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, they have a thing called the Under the Big Sky. It's a big country music festival they have right outside of town at a ranch right outside of Whitefish. And our little town is probably now 8,000 people population. And so last year they said there were 30,000 people that showed up for this conference or for this concert. And a town of 8,000 people is not, the infrastructure is not there to
We're just not equipped.
suddenly triple the size of the town. And that's basically what happens. And so, this year I did hear that they cut back on the ticket sales. There weren't as many. I heard 20,000, which still is a lot, but I guess 10,000 makes a big difference. But even with that, on Friday, it goes Friday night, Saturday, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday. And on Friday at noon, when everybody was rolling into town, I was trying to, I had to go down to Kalispell for something, and the traffic was bumper to bumper, like for 2 miles through town. It was
Yeah.
unbelievable. And then trying to get back to my house in the middle of that, it took a half hour, and I know you guys, there's a lot of people listening from bigger cities and you're probably laughing at us, but it took a half hour to get from the south end of town up to my house just because it was bumper to bumper the whole way. And we're just not used to that. It's like I said, small town, 8,000 people, and then it goes from 8,000 to 40,000. And
you can feel it.
yes. And the other thing last year,
I still haven't been to the festival, but maybe one year I'll go.
We went last year just to see it, and that's the last time I'll ever go. It was not too many people. It was like a gigantic, it's like Coachella, which I haven't been to, that Hillary has been to, but I'm assuming that it's just a mass of humanity, and it's not really Montana. If you're looking to kind of be out in the woods and the outdoors and the wilderness, and then you've got 30,000 people around you, it's kind of missing the point. So I was laughing that, I said that I think I told Hillary this, they should change their logo or their saying to, no better way to celebrate the country than by bringing the big city to the country. Because it goes from a nice little town to the big city overnight. But
you shockingly didn't tell me that, but
well, there's the one thing I didn't tell you.
Yeah, so crazy, but I don't know. It's a mixed bag. Some people are super crabby about it. Some people go and love it. And I mean, it is what it is. I feel like it's here to stay. So we will move on. The next question is from Stacy. Do you guys have long-term rentals? There's more options to rent long-term than short-term rentals. Those are kind of hard to come by. But the problem with rentals, and we talk about this all the time, is that we don't have access to them in our MLS. They're not listed there. So we kind of know as much as you do about what rentals are available. And there's not a designated website that has like every rental in Whitefish listed in one place. So you have to, just Google Whitefish rentals, and there are different rental companies. And so you'll have to go to like different websites to look at it. So there are long-term rentals here. But for the most part, we know as much as you do.
Yeah. And like I say on everyone too, if somebody was looking to create a job for themselves up here, you could make a central website that has all the rentals on it, because like Hillary said, you have to go to each company because they all manage their own set of properties. And so then you go to each one and sign up with each one. And then, you look at the ones they have available, and then, it's a pain. So.
And I don't know. I know at one point it was so hard to get a rental. Like there were no rentals available, and I just haven't checked up on it. So I don't know if it's gotten better or what the situation is with rentals, but yeah.
I think it's gotten maybe a tiny bit better, just because more of those apartments have now come into play down in Kalispell.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I was talking to some people last week, and they have a giant dog, one of those, I don't know if it was a Great Dane, it was some kind of dog that's like 150 pounds. Unfortunately, 99.9% of landlords are not going to choose you if you have a big dog or numerous dogs, when they have all kinds of other people applying that don't have dogs. So,
well, it's interesting to me that so many of them are just no pets allowed. Just in Montana, it seems like everybody has a dog. I don't know. But that is also something to think about. If you have a dog, that'll kind of narrow your
Well, it's just
chance.
because they don't have to do it. And if it's you want to protect your house, and everybody's
Yeah.
going to tell you that their dog is nice until it gets in your house and chews up everything.
Although
So
I was in a rental when I got my dachshund, and I wasn't supposed to have pets, and I just talked to my landlord, and she said it was fine. So I don't know.
all right. Jennifer, hello from hot, dry Western Kansas.
Hello, Kansas. I'm from Nebraska.
Rodney, do y'all have a website, your listings? Yes, we do. Let me put this up right here. I changed our little ticker earlier. If you guys want a access to all the listings, you can sign up on our website, which is right there, montanaliferealty.com. And speaking of our website, I shouldn't say we, when I say we, I mean Hillary just totally redid our website, and it looks awesome, and it's way better than the one I made, and I will give her full credit for that.
Well, I don't know that it's that amazing. It just works. So we've got that going for us now. But yeah, you
very
can
good.
go to montanaliferealty.com, and there's like a link where you can look for properties on that website. Or like Will said, if you want access to the MLS, which is updated in real time and shows, all the listings, as I said, updated in real time. I think that's the real perk. But you can either email us or sign up to get access to that on our website also.
All right, here's Rosa. Watching from hot and humid North Carolina, how is the weather and what is the fire situation usually like in Flathead County in the first half of September? Usually by September, we're past the fires. And it just depends on the year. I mean,
It literally depends.
was it last year or the year before? We didn't have fires anywhere near us, but the ones in California were so big that, and the way the jet stream was going, it blew all the smoke in here.
I think that was last year. And it's actually interesting that you bring that up. I forgot about this, but when we were at our fire lookout this weekend, I guess there's a fire in Idaho.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we woke up and saw the sunrise, and we had like perfect views, and it was great. And as the day went on, we couldn't see the mountains, and it was like, what is happening? And then I was like, oh, it's smoky. And then on the hike down, it like smelled like fire. But yeah, I think in September we're usually safer, but like Will said, it just, you never know.
Yeah, that fire you're talking about was down in Salmon, Idaho, which from where you guys were is maybe 40 miles.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
So
We
no wonder
definitely
you could
saw it and
smell
smelled it. It is not humid here, but it has been hot. But our summers are like perfect. I think we get like a few days that are super, super hot. But you guys talking about it's 108 and 109. Ooh, that is so hot. When I say hot, I don't mean that hot. I just mowed my lawn and I was like dying and thought that it was super hot, and it is 85. So
It's supposed to be in the 90s at the end of this week, so we have that to look forward to, but then it cools right back off. So let's see. Is there any smog testing requirements in Montana for vehicles? That would be no. There is not. As far as I know, I don't know if California is the only state that has that. I don't know, but we do not have it here.
no, we do not.
What else?
Rocky Mountain Guy has a good question for you, Will. Any more input on Kalispell growing faster than Bozeman?
I think what he's talking about is the video I did last week or 2 weeks ago now. That was picked up by Google News, and so it got tons and tons of views. And there was an article I don't know, not too long ago that Kalispell passed Bozeman in the latest census for the fastest growing city in Montana. And then because of the size of Kalispell, they call it a micropolitan area. that was a new one to me. But supposedly in
Not
cities of
metropolitan.
what's
It's a
that?
It's not metropolitan. It's micropolitan.
That's what I said.
I know. I was just interjecting.
So yeah, for cities of that side, supposedly it was the fastest growing city in the country, which I find a little hard to believe, but I was just going off the article. But any more input about it? No. It did grow faster in Bozeman, but if you looked at the numbers, it was very, it beat it by 100 people. And so it wasn't a giant, taking it over. But I guess it is growing faster than Bozeman, and that's all I know. I used to live in Montana and Idaho, now live in Tennessee. I miss Montana and Idaho. Well, at least your Tennessee's got the Appalachian Mountains. I know they're a little different than here. Here we go. Louise.
The house is under contract, but you're interested in buying it. Can you still make an offer, maybe offering the owner more money than the potential buyer?
That is exactly what I was talking about earlier. Here in Montana, once the seller signs the contract, they can't get out of it unless the buyer defaults on one of the dates or backs out or does an inspection, doesn't like it and backs out, whatever. But the seller, that's why people are hesitant to, take some offers unless they're really, really good, because they're basically just taking it off the market until that deal either closes or they back out. So where you're going is, so again, back to Hillary, if you put in an offer on her house and she accepts it, and then I come in the next day and offer her $2 million for her house, she's going to be bummed out, but there's nothing she can do about it. She has to honor the original contract unless it falls apart. So
if there is a house that you really like that's under contract, what a lot of sellers will do is accept backups. So you can put in a backup offer, but like Will just said, the seller can't kill their first deal to accept yours. So the backup only comes into play if the deal falls through, if the buyer backs out or contingency because of a contingency or something like that, then they'll go to the first backup, and they can have several backups. So they'll just kind of go down the list, but that is definitely worth it. I don't know. I think that a lot of people feel like it's a waste of time, but that's how I got my house, put in a backup offer. And the listing agent had told us, don't bother. We don't have any contingencies. This was a cash deal. Nothing's going to happen. And you just never know. Something happened and we got it. So that's kind of your one option if you want a house that's under contract, is to put in a backup.
Yeah.
Yes, who's the savage now? I know I need a good background. Will makes fun of my background all the time. He has like a green screen. I mean, that is a legit setup though. And I don't know how to,
yes, very fancy studio we have here, totally high tech.
I'm working on it.
Hillary's in a bare, empty, echoey.
There's actually a lot of stuff in here, but yeah, we're in the process of decorating an office. So
maybe you could move the camera around and show everybody all the stuff in your room.
It's a ton of boxes and it's all presents for my bridesmaids. I've got like bachelorette party stuff in here. I got a ton of stuff in here.
Oh, here you go. Here's a new friend.
Ooh, cool. Hello.
Southeast Nebraska.
Where?
What's there?
Chat again and say where. I don't know. I'm from Omaha.
No, what's in Southeast Nebraska, Hillary?
I don't know.
Hillary never left Omaha. Other than hunting and fishing on private property, is hunting and fishing allowed in other various parks? Yes. Hunting, that's kind of there's a lot goes into that you can't, depends on what you're hunting and all, the type of license you get and all of that. I know for deer and elk and bear and things like that, they have different zones in these different areas. National parks you can never hunt in, but the Forest Service, I'm pretty sure that you can. The fishing, I know, like when you buy a pass to Glacier Park or when you get into Glacier Park, that includes a fishing license. You don't have to buy a separate license in town. You can fish in all the lakes just with your pass to get in. But yeah, hunting is not ever allowed in Glacier or any of the national parks. Am I sure about what?
If you have a glacier, you mean just fishing in Glacier or fishing in lakes outside of Glacier? Oh,
no, if you're inside the park,
got it.
your entry fee gives you basically your license. Obviously, if you're outside the park, then you need a regular Montana fishing license. And if you're on a reservation, some of those require another permit or license for the reservation as well. So here's your guy from Nebraska.
100 miles south of Omaha, way down in the corner, lots of corn and bean fields. Nice. Awesome. Yeah, from Nebraska, now lives in Texas. I know a ton of people that moved from Nebraska to Texas. Yeah, okay. I also saw this comment, and I
would like you to screenshot that, Hillary. Some of us have to be up to date. So
it says Will is hip to the times, and I'm not sure where you're getting that. But
believe it or not, that's not even a relative. I don't know who this person is, but they're exactly right. Any insight on the increase in foreclosures that'll be recorded? I had a guy that maybe you're the guy emailed us last week, and he sent me a screenshot or a link to a website that showed thousands of foreclosures in Montana. What these websites do is they pull up all these fake listings or whatever. They're trying to generate leads, and they're just trying to get you to call them so they can get you on their list and eventually sell you something. I looked up the foreclosures in all of Western Montana. There's 5. And I also read an article last week that for the last 3 months that we've hit an all-time low. This is across the country. We've hit an all-time low in people being late on their house payments. So there's not a huge bunch of foreclosures coming. And again, I think just like all the time, the news, the media, everybody wants to shock you with headlines. And, if all of a sudden we get 2 more, so right now we have 5 foreclosures. So if we get 5 more in the next month, then someone can write an article and say, oh my God, Western Montana had a 50% increase in foreclosures. Well, there's right now 5 in the whole west side of the state is nothing. I mean, think about how many houses are here. So I don't know where you guys are seeing this, but it is not true unless I'm missing something, and I don't think I am. Remember, I'm hip and up to the times.
Yeah, he knows. Mario is wondering how much the Montana market has dropped this year and which part of Montana is the warmest.
The warmest part would be over to the west of us. It's on I believe the Highway 200. I think it's Highway 200 corridor. It goes up through Thompson Falls and Plains, and eventually you get up to Troy. The reason they're the warmest is they're very low elevation compared to the rest of the state. So they're the warmest in the winter. In the summertime, it's a lot hotter over on the east side of the mountains towards the Dakotas. They get more humidity and more of the heat than we do over here, again, because of the elevation. But in the winters, they get the bitter cold stuff that you see in Minnesota and North Dakota and all of that. So as far as how much the market has dropped this year, I don't know the exact percentage. I would say maybe 10%. It hasn't gone down tons. People are starting to drop prices. I did a video a few weeks ago about this. We're still kind of in a little bit of a standoff between the buyers and the sellers. The sellers are still thinking that, oh, my neighbor got $1 million for his house last year, so I should too. And buyers aren't doing it, but we are starting to see some price reductions. So as far as a percentage, our market has dropped. It's probably not much at the moment, just because we're still waiting for the sellers to drop their prices a little more.
We're also seeing there's a lot more inventory, so that's another factor. Did you guys sign up to be extras on Yellowstone? I see they wanted extras to be available until 2 a.m. for the July dates. Yes, we did, and we did participate. So we went out and we filmed for 2 days. Will actually did a couple extra days. And I got an email for the July, and they had some that were like right after the 4th. And I had, experienced it. So that was good enough. But yeah, 2 a.m. is late night to be filming.
Yeah,
live in Montana, there's a Facebook page that's for Yellowstone casting, and you have to be a Montana resident. But you can sign up. I mean, they post all the time saying what scenes they're filming, what they're looking for, and you send them an email with your photo, and they reach right out. You can go and be an extra.
Yeah, I did it for 5 days, and one of the days I was there until 10 o'clock at night. But yeah, there was during that week, some other guys that I was working with, they had to stay until late at night. So it's kind of wild
being there that late. It's just a long day of standing. I was tired when we finished and my feet hurt. And so, yeah, that doesn't sound fun to me.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of standing around, and that was the first. I did it because the main reason I wanted to do it is because I love the show, for one, and I really wanted to go to the ranch. And so that was the coolest. I still think that the one day Hillary was there that day too. There was one day we were out at the ranch and it was perfect. It was like the sky behind me right here. And it was just perfect temperature, and it was just beautiful. And all of the stars were there. And it was very cool. I would highly recommend it. But Hillary's right. There was a lot of standing around, and you do at the end of the day, because we were down there at the same time. And so, I remember, I think the next day after that, they were saying, oh, you're not going to start until 2 p.m. So I told Hillary, oh, we should go on a hike that next morning. We were so tired. We didn't even move until we had to go back in at 2 o'clock or whatever time we went in.
It's true. And I wish we could just talk about this and tell you guys everything, but we're scared we're going to get in trouble because you're not supposed to talk about it until the series comes out, obviously. So when it does, we'll tell you what episode, and
I believe it's episode. I think we can. I think.
I don't know which one it is.
Episode 1. It's the first episode. The thing we were filming was the first episode for this coming season. We just can't tell you. Huh?
I hope you see me.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. Well, that's the other thing. So again, I've never done anything like this, so I didn't know what to expect. But they do about 50 takes for every scene. So we could be in there a lot, or we could be in there not at all.
You just have no idea.
We have no
You're doing it more for the experience, not to get on TV, because chances are you're not going to get on TV. But next question is, no. I'm not. Are you related? Somebody asked if I'm related to somebody in Omaha. No, I don't even know who that is, but I'm gonna Facebook them. But no, I'm not.
Are you
Sorry.
able to put questions up now? Because now I lost my spot.
No, I'm not. I don't know why I'm not.
Okay, Rocky Mountain guy again. Has time on the market increased this summer? Yes, it has.
Yes.
That's definitely a big change we've seen compared to last year. So, Lola, do you feel that some sellers listed just to see if they can get a lot for their house while prices are still high? We still see some overpriced that aren't reducing after a month. Yes. Like I said a minute ago, it's kind of a standoff right now. And I think you're right. Some people are thinking, oh, well, I'll still cash in, thinking that they can. But boy, the interest rates going up the way they did put a damper on the market compared to a year ago. So, yes, I agree with you that people are doing that. And, so obviously they don't have to sell. They're just hoping to cash in, thinking the market is still where it was a year ago. And they're finding out that it is not.
We missed some questions up above that, but how are you? Thank you. Will makes me do it, and I don't want to, but I appreciate you.
The reason Hillary's doing all this is because my wife absolutely refuses to come on here.
Yeah,
And
she
so
refuses. I don't refuse. I'll do anything.
do you
I
need
don't
a
know
digging
this.
permit to dig on your land, and how deep can you dig? No, not that I know of. The only thing you got to be careful of is obviously utilities. So if you're digging out by the road, there's a company called Dig Alert that you have to call if you're digging along, near the utilities, whatever, and they'll come out and mark stuff for you. But if you're just digging a hole, you can dig a hole. As far as how deep, I don't know the answer to that. I guess it would probably have to be safe. So yeah, I don't know that, but you do not need a permit. There we go. I'm from New York City and I'm moving there. If I order a sandwich and they're taking, I'll let Hillary answer this. She orders a lot of takeout.
Sandwiches. I mean, you can, I guess. I don't really understand I feel like this is a joke that's going over my head.
Is it a buyer's market in Montana yet? I'm seeing some price reductions. I wouldn't call it a buyer's market yet. Like we just said a minute ago, it's still kind of in a standoff. People are starting to reduce their prices, but as far as being a buyer's market, I do not believe you could call it that yet. We're heading that direction though. So, I think this is another Yellowstone clip. Do they pay extras or was it charity work? You do get paid. Probably not as much. I don't think we got paid as much as Kevin Costner did for those episodes, but we did get paid.
Yeah, and of course we were filming at the ranch, so by the time we got paid, it's like we, paid for gas and a hotel there. So, I mean, again, you're doing it just for the experience. Can you compare Darby area with Kalispell area? There's a place we're very interested in the Darby area if we can still sell our house.
They're not alike at all.
Yeah, they're very, very different. Darby is super small. I mean, Kalispell feels micropolitan, if you will. We've got a Costco and a Home Depot, and there's like chain restaurants. And Darby is not that way. It's super teeny tiny, but it's beautiful. And they've got a little main street. And I mean, I don't know. They're just, not very comparable, but.
He's looking for the difference between winter and summer. How much different are they with Darby?
Oh,
not much. I would say Darby might be a little bit warmer, but not. If you drove in the middle of January from Kalispell to Darby, you're not going to see a giant difference in anything.
Yeah.
other than the scenery a little bit, but weather-wise, it's pretty similar. The whole west side of Montana is very similar. There's some pockets, like I talked about earlier, up near Plains and Thompson Falls where it's warmer and they don't get as much snow. But for the most part, all of western Montana is pretty similar. It doesn't change drastically until you get east of the mountains, and then it turns into Siberia in the winter. Which areas have the least amount of mosquitoes? I can handle snakes, bears, and raccoons. I don't know where you're coming from, but the mosquitoes here are nothing like they are in the Midwest. We don't have a lot of standing, stagnant water. All of the rivers are moving and all the lakes are fed and rivers are coming out of them. So, do we have mosquitoes in some areas? Yes. But I don't know if you could really say, oh, there's fewer here.
And we've talked about this on a previous live. I think that this year, probably because we got so much rain, we have a lot of mosquitoes, and I say a lot just because I notice them. And in previous years, I've noticed that there aren't any. But yeah, the only time usually that I really notice mosquitoes are when I'm going on a hike to like a specific lake or something.
Hillary, could you read the next comment?
Yeah, I saw this and I knew this was coming. Will is smart. You should listen to him. He knows what he's doing. And he tells me that all the time. So thank you for just driving it home.
I appreciate all the family and friends that are chiming in.
How often do you sell the raw land lots in wooded areas?
Quite a bit. We've sold quite a few lots in wooded areas. Most of the areas are wooded. So, and we have a 9-acre one for sale right now that's wooded with, it's woods all around it, borders Forest Service land, and has great views of Glacier Park. And if you're interested, you can email us or sign up and see all the lots that are available. When the Yellowstone show ends, will it be a buyer's market again? I don't know.
He's saying when it ends, it'll be a buyer's market again. Like as long as that show's going.
Yeah, it's definitely bringing people to Montana. You know what's funny is somebody made the comment, or I saw a meme the other day that said, all of the people that moved here because of a river runs through it are now mad about the people moving here from the Yellowstone show.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one. What is the best part of Montana to purchase a home for both seasons, cold winters and warmer summers? Define cold. Like I said, the eastern side is way colder than here. But we definitely get winter. It's just not the bitter cold. And we get beautiful summers. So I would say western Montana, but it depends on how cold you want it in the winter.
How are you is back with another question about bugs.
I'll let you
hear about the mosquitoes. Are there chiggers? And Elizabeth below doesn't know what chiggers are. Is this like a Midwest thing? Do you know what chiggers are, Will?
I don't.
Oh God, I definitely do. I have not had chiggers here, and I, am like outside all the time. I don't really know, but they're little teeny bugs. I think they maybe burrow under your skin. I don't know if they bite you or if it's like the actual bug in there, but it gives you like a rash. Chiggers are horrible. It's so itchy. I feel like I used to get them like at swim meets and stuff. I don't know, but I've not had chiggers here, and I'm outside literally all the time. So,
why is it going up? The off the grid video is super nice. Was that unique for off grid? Yeah, we talked about this earlier. You must not have been on. Yeah, that house is very, very nice. It's not it's not how the pioneers did it. It's like, it's off the grid, but like we said, if you were there, if somebody just, drove you up in a car and you walked in and didn't know any different, you would think they were on the grid because it has everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, most of the off the grid places are not that, what's the word? I don't want to say fancy, but they're not that updated, or they don't have that much technology is what I'm looking for. So a
Yeah.
lot.
That place is also unique. Just like that view, that was a really cool property. But yeah, this is a good question.
Yeah. If you own land that borders Forest Service land, what happens if hikers would come through your land by accident or perhaps purposely? Well, it's the same thing that would happen if they came down the street and walked across your yard. It's your land, but they can use the Forest Service land that borders your property. So as far as, the private property laws here, it's, probably like anywhere else. Someone said you can't shoot them.
It's funny though, because if you're on forest land, usually if you're getting close to somebody's private property, because they'll have like posted signs up and oftentimes signs saying they will shoot you if you go onto their land. So I don't think I don't know. I don't think that's like a common mistake. I mean, if somebody's going on a hike, I don't know.
Usually the trails are way
Yeah.
in the interior of the Forest Service land. So somebody popping out on your property is probably rare. Not that it can't happen, but hopefully you will be a good neighbor and won't shoot them. And people don't purposely try and cross other people's land around here for the most part. So
yeah, I don't think that is a big concern.
Yeah.
Go to
here
Joe.
We go.
Hillary complained about spending 2 hours in the car with Will. What, is he a bad driver? No, and actually I should be grateful that he is the one who drives all the time. He's a real talker, I think, as you guys have seen. I've heard. I'm just kidding. No, we have fun when we drive. We always stop and get snacks multiple times, and we have fun. It's just a long time.
I think we need to revisit this comment after what you just
said. Oh God.
I'm gonna take a screenshot of that and just send it to you every time I've annoyed you somehow.
How are you? You have no idea what you've done here.
Does the Whitefish Ski Resort offer mountain biking trails in the summer? Yes.
Yes.
And have you?
And the Whitefish trails have there's a ton of mountain biking trails.
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever discussed this. Do you guys mountain bike like that?
Do I?
Yeah.
No, Keenan has done it. He has a mountain bike. He's actually been going down a hill and like stopped, and there was a bear there. I don't know. I will pretty much do anything, but for some reason that does not interest me. I get scared. I don't want to go fast down the mountain. Those little one tracks I don't know. That just has not interested me. So I'm not a good person to ask about mountain biking, but I know that there are a ton of trails and people definitely go up to the resort, and they're also, there's plenty of them. So yeah.
Yeah, my experience with mountain biking is we went with our daughter one time and some of her friends, and like Hillary, I'm not much of a mountain biker, and I accidentally, as I was coming down the hill and around a corner or up to a corner, whatever, I hit the wrong brake, and I hit the front brake, and then that throws you over the handlebars.
Yeah, I just know I would injure myself.
Yeah,
so I'd like to just avoid it.
My one and only trip down the mountain, I took a trip over the handlebars, and that was the end of it for me. I told the rest of them that they could meet me in the bar afterwards, and I would sit there and wait for them because I was I was done mountain biking after that. So, but
The
the
people
one thing
know, Will, what is your next video? Oh, I'm sorry. Were you still talking about mountain biking?
Oh, I was gonna, yeah, we'll get to this in a second. No, what I was gonna say is, what Hillary didn't mention. There is, I've read this again. I'm not the mountain biking guy, but one of the trails up there has won all kinds of awards for the way it's built, the way it rides. I don't know. If you're into mountain biking, you can Google it. But yeah, one of the trails, I guess, is really good. So there you go. What is coming next week? The video I'm doing next week is yesterday. Well, yeah, the video we were going to do, we had to push back a month, so then I had to come up with a different idea. So yesterday I drove up going to the Sun Road, and we're going to do a little tour for any of you people that have never done that drive. It's awesome. I have never been on a more beautiful road in my life. It's just incredible. Hillary can verify this. And so I just filmed the whole drive, and we stop at a few places along the way and show you that. But yeah, it is awesome. It's 15 miles basically from the bottom to the top, and it's just spectacular scenery. And if you're scared of heights like I am, it can be a little creepy. And I have to admit that I had Angie, she was going up to do a hike, and so I had her drive, and I sat in the passenger seat with the window open, holding the camera out. And when you're going up, there's a couple places where, I mean, it's like I know that this is exaggerating, but it looks like a 10,000 foot drop off, straight off the side of the road. And I was hanging out, and I probably should have had another camera set up in the car pointed at me, so you could have seen my face and reaction on some areas, because it's quite a drop off. But yeah, that's going to be the video for Tuesday.
I really want to put Who's the Savage Now's comment up, because it is hilarious. That was a really good one.
This one?
Yeah. It's just
actually, we've talked about that, but I don't know, that most people probably wouldn't find us that amusing as we do. But let's see. Having land a half hour from a hospital ER, their helicopter air services you can subscribe to. That is one of the videos that I'm working on in the future. Yes, there are 2 different helicopter services here. The hospital has a helicopter, I don't want to call it company, but it's called the Alert Helicopter. And we are a very rural state in this part of Montana. There's some places where, the quickest, best way to get somewhere is with a helicopter. There's that. And then there's the search and rescue called Two Bear Air. And that's more for, like when Hillary goes and climbs a mountain and strands herself up there because she twists her ankle or, whatever. So they'll go pluck her off the side of a mountain, whereas the Alert will come get you in a car accident when you're way out somewhere. But yes, I am hoping to do a video on those companies.
And if you guys have ideas or requests for videos, please tell us.
Yes, it's been 2 years now of making
videos.
videos.
Ideas.
Hillary's sick of me asking her what I should do another video on.
I'm really bad at ideas, and I just feel like he's done everything. So yeah, if you guys have an idea or want him to talk about something or want him to redo a video and elaborate on it, just definitely chime in.
Yeah. What was I just going to say about that? So we were just throwing this out there. You guys can chime in yes or no, or that's a dumb idea. But we did get a lot of feedback on the off the grid video touring that house. And we don't know if it's because it was off the grid and people are interested in that, or I was thinking maybe once a month we should tour a nice house around here and let Hillary do her little $1 million listing thing and show the houses. So if you guys think that's a good idea, chime in and let us know, because we are always looking for new content and things that'll interest you guys. So
Elizabeth, he still does have a Minnesota accent.
Oh, good call. I wonder if Elizabeth knows me. Did you ever have a Minnesota? No, I do not. I don't have an accent at all.
Yes, he does.
Your listing in Martin City is too big for me. Any other listings that are smaller? Yeah, there's all kinds. Again, email us and we can send you, let us know what you're looking for, price-wise, size-wise, and we can send you everything that's available. Here's a good one. Are buyers allowed to write sellers a love letter? Yes, they are, but we don't recommend it for a lot of different reasons, because it's not a great idea. We just say put out your best offer, and we can, it depends. Some of the buyers might not be, or some of the sellers might not think whatever you're telling them is all that great.
You can also get into I feel like there are legal issues because of fair housing. Like you
Correct.
can't, it puts the sellers in an awkward position. Like they can't get a love letter that says, we have 8
Little
children
kids,
that we
yeah.
want to raise here, and they can't sell you the house because they want kids there. I mean, it's, so yeah.
This guy, I thought the off the grid tour was great, except for the 2-hour drive just to get to Polbridge. Yeah, I've been meaning to, it's not 2 hours. Hillary was exaggerating because of her fabulous time in the car with me. But it's really only, from Columbia Falls, it's maybe 40 minutes.
Well, we don't live in Columbia Falls.
No, I know, but that's kind of the start of the road going up there. So
it wasn't that bad. I just, tease. This is an interesting comment. Someone said, as a former seller, I found the love letter to almost be offensive, trying to play on my heartstrings. Yeah, you just don't know how it's going to go over. So just let the offer speak for itself.
What was this one? Canadian accent. Let's see. Ideas for videos. Interview well companies, solar panel. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think what we found is people want to see Montana. They want to see the area, and that's where we get the most interest, the most views. But no, those are good ideas, because I did an interview with Natalie, the gal that does or that we recommend for lending, and it just didn't get a lot of views. So I don't know. I don't know you will, but my mom grew up in Southwest Minnesota, and her family members have more of an accent than you do. Well, I haven't lived in Minnesota since I was in high school, so that probably has something to do with it. But there you go. There you have it. If you live that far off the grid, I think you sign off on the fact that you may not be close enough to emergency medical service in the event of a medical emergency. Well, that's also a very valid point. But we do. There are services for those people that live way out there. So, and we are past an hour already. Let's do this one last question, and then we'll wrap it up. What are you seeing in terms of down payment amounts or most cash offers in the Kalispell? No, Angie was just talking the other day. Like it's like 30% of the deals were cash. So as far as down payment, it varies. You know, I don't know if you're talking about earnest money or down payment. If it's a conventional loan, it's usually 20% down. A lot of the government loans are 10% and less. They go down to 3% for an RD loan. So that is all we have. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will be back in 2 weeks again, and we will see everybody then. So thank you and see you later.
Ta-ta.